working on my herb gardens today. Weeding in my herb gardens. Let's see. Show you. This one's looking pretty good. I am, this time, I am weeding, and then I'm taking the shovel and getting all the weeds out. This has just been, because I have the herbs scattered here and there. Now some of them I have in pots, but the ones I have in the ground, like that, and the flowers, I have flowers along the border here. And so I got some of those weeded. I'm going to have to weed some more on those. I'm having to do that by hand because the flowers are all mixed in right there. So I'm going to have to do that by hand. But I've got like some flowers in the ground, some herbs. Here's a sage that's in the ground. I couldn't decide whether to just dig those up and put them in pots and redo this garden, or go ahead and chop around them. I'm still not going to say I'm completely decided. I've got a couple of okras. There's an okra, and there's an okra. Those are in the ground out here. Just other things I have in containers and pots. They're fine. I could just move them out of the way and weed underneath them. But I've got so much that's in the ground. Calendulas are in the ground. And then I've got some tomato plants in the ground. So the way the weeds were getting, it was really hard. I'll show you what it looks like before I started weeding. Over here I have two gardens just like this, two herb gardens. I do herbs and flowers and tomato plants. Okay, there's one that has not been weeded, and I've already weeded twice this year. So I'm working on my third time of weeding this, and the pots I can just move out of the way and weed underneath them. But the things that are in the ground is a little harder, and you can't get a tiller in here. There's walking onions. That's a big mess. I'm going to have to get in there just with my hands and pull those weeds around those walking onions. And the comfrey is in the ground. A couple tomato plants in the ground. The rest is in pots. I can just move those out of the way, and it's a whole lot easier. So what I'm going to do, right now I'm weeding. That's in pots. You know, I've got some basil in pots. That's a goji plant in a pot. But now I've got, over here I've got echinacea. There's some echinacea in the ground right there. So I would have to dig that up. Also, I have my blueberry bushes out here. So there's garlic down on the end in the ground. So it's really hard to just weed this. We don't have time to make raised beds right now. We just don't have the time to get them done and get all this in there. So I could dig everything up, put it in pots, and put weed barrier down in there. Or I could wait until, just keep weeding it and wait until the end of the year and make raised beds when we have the time. Like Lee done his strawberries. Lee just made a raised bed for his strawberries. But we just don't have the time to get out here and do enough raised beds for all of my herbs. We're gonna do it, but in the meantime, for now, we're trying to do something different. Anyway, so what I have done, I have gone in here and weeded, and then I took the shovel and just shoveled all the weeds out, and that seems to work for now. But I know that some of that will grow back. Some of those weeds will be grown back. I couldn't get it all. But I'll let you know what I decide to do. I'll keep you updated on this garden. I've done this one whole garden. Now I do have to go around the edges where these flowers are. There's marigolds. It was just a flower mixture. There's marigolds and zinnias and bachelor's buttons, and it was just a flower mixture that I put all around the outside of this garden. And so I can't really just weed it as easily as I could the middle. So I'm going to have to go down through there on my knees by hand and weed in between the flowers. So that'll be a whole nother chore there. But look at those nasturtiums, are looking beautiful. I've got an orange one over here and then a yellow one over on this side. They are looking beautiful. So I've got to get in this side and start weeding and shoveling out this side. I've been working on this side all morning, so it took me about 4.5 hours to get this side done. So that's not too bad. I took a lot of breaks. Could have got it done faster, but I had to stop and take breaks. And like I said, I still have to do the outside all the way around where I planted flowers, all the way around the outside, just wildflowers. I'm going to work on this other side a little while. I won't get it all done today. I'll finish it up tomorrow. So since I'm doing all this work and getting it looking that good, I might as well leave it and just keep the weeds back as much as I can. And then this fall I'll dig all the plants that are in the ground up and put them in pots, and we will begin to make raised beds out here. I like having my ornaments out here. I've taken a lot of the ornaments out so that I could weed better. You can still see some things I've got. I've taken some out. I have just stuff like that, ornamental things that I have in here that I like having in here. I've took some of them and moved them out so that I could weed. I still have a few more to get out, but I really like my ornamental stuff in here. Like potager garden. It's more of a potager garden, and so it's supposed to be a big old mess with pots and ornaments and things like that. And I've kind of took what was a potager garden and made a big old mess out of it, actually. So there you go. There's my herb garden, and it's looking way better on this side. I'm going to try to keep it that way until fall. And then, like I said, this fall we're going to dig up the herbs that are in the ground, put them in pots, and then make raised beds out here. And we will show you the progress on that along the way. Another thing, I never did get I had a scarecrow lady that didn't do too good through the winter, and I was going to make another one and put out here, and I just never did get that made. I probably won't at this point because I'd really like to just keep this weeded and do something totally different with it this fall. So I probably won't do a scarecrow lady until next year. You can see out this way from my herb garden. Let me go step back up here so you can see what I'm talking about here. Okay, here's my herb garden, my fence here, and it did run right into the horse fence, but Lee has moved the horse fence for me over to the other edge of the lean-to down there to spread my herb garden out some. So we'll be making a lot of more raised beds and container gardening, and when we eventually have rabbits, they will be down there against that lean-to. He's going to build the cages for the rabbits right down there on this side of that lean-to. And then we will take this fencing down here and spread it out and enclose the whole spot. And it's going to give me a whole lot more room down through there, all the way to where the rabbits are going to be, all the way over to the fence, the horse fence, which is here. It'll give me all of that extra room here, all the way down. It's about 10 foot this way, and then from where my herb garden stops, it's another probably 10 or 20 foot to the lean-to. So I'm going to have a huge herb garden, potager garden. It'll probably have a lot more herbs in it, but a lot of flowers too. I'm going to do a lot of flowers to take up that space. We're going to do probably a table and chairs out here. Eventually, we're going to, when the horse is gone, we're going to go ahead and take that fence down and do a outdoor kitchen out here also. So I can't wait for that. That'll be awesome. We'll be taking down this whole fence row here and in front of the house over there, and then we'll build an outdoor kitchen out here close to the herb garden. That will be awesome. I can't wait. Meantime, I have went and got some, I want to get some more of them. I got some solar lights out here. I got about 6 solar lights I put along out here, and I'd like to get more of those out here when we get tables and chairs out here. And so there you go. There's the herb garden project that is about to kill me. So y'all give us a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe, and watch us on Friday nights at 8 p.m. Central Time. And if you've got any comments or suggestions about the herb gardens and about the raised beds and container gardening, any advice is appreciated. We'll even take criticism. But don't be too harsh. Alright, y'all give us a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe.